Watch me. I'll do the fingering. That's it.
Is that what we're going for? Is that the vibe?
What's your favorite scary movie? Swallow this.
Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Arrow in the Head show. Mr. Velchek, talking to Mr. Fallon once again. How you doing, buddy? Long time no see.
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's been about over a week. I'm on the wagon.
Still? Nice.
Yeah. And yeah, that's what that is.
It's going to be a fun drinking section.
It's going to be a shit drinking section, man. It's going to be a shit drinking section. And it's too bad, because today we're going to talk a movie that's very divisive. A movie that I was disappointed when I first saw it, but when I watched it again and again, it grew on me. So before that, I guess let's just get out of the way because, what are you drinking, you fuck?
Well, it's going to be better than you, I assume. My buddy Brad came out a little bit ago and he got me a little present because he's like, hey, I noticed sometimes in the show you have to drink a beer or sometimes a Red Bull. So he was kind enough to give me this giant bottle of Woodford Reserve. I filled up a decanter and I have a lot more left. So I figured put on the suit jacket, drink a little bit of whiskey and talk Alien with Mr. John Fallon.
That's a thing of beauty, by the way.
It took two hands. It's like a giant, yeah.
Really, and I love that whiskey. So I'm having sparkling water with lemon.
Probably healthy in some way.
Cheers to you guys. Cheers to you, Lancy boy.
Cheers, my friend.
Hello, my friend. Hey!
Alien motherfucking Covenant. 2017, Ridley Scott.
Coming back.
I actually, before we dive into the movie, I just want to share this with you and you guys and dolls. I was actually flown down to Australia to visit the set of that movie. A couple things stood out that I want to share. The first thing was Mr. Ridley Scott likes to shoot practical in camera as much as he can. So the sets that you see in the picture, they were all built. Like, the giant heads and, the engineers, the space jockey room, which is a great story because at a certain point I was outside and there was like a tube going up and there was this huge platform, like a huge warehouse on stilts with a tube. So I asked the producer dude, I'm like, dude, what the fuck is that shit? He goes, why don't you go check it out?
Yeah, that's cool. You
really?
guys walk up.
All right, cool. So I go up a tube and it's like a tube, but then the walls start to transform into like the wall in, aliens. I cross and there's like engineers, and it's feeling like I'm in a haunted house. I'm like, okay, and I'm alone. This is kind of creepy. And then I walk in and it opens up and it's the space jockey room, and my jaw simply dropped. I mean, that place since the original Alien has been carved in my feeble mind for a long time, and I was there and I was like, wow, it was really impressive. That was one thing that really marked me. The other thing that marked me is I spoke with Mr. Scott, and two things he said that I want to share before we jump in the movie. Number one, he said to me, Prometheus, he had one plan, and the movie was fairly well received and it did okay at the box office. But everybody complained about there was an alien, like a xenomorph, like the one we know. He was like, I thought people were sick of the fucking monster, and then we read online, and everybody, oh, where's the alien? Where's the alien? So he's like, you want fucking aliens? I'm like, sure. He goes, you're going to get fucking aliens. He swears a lot, which I liked.
Oh,
so I'm like, cool. And one question I asked him, because I knew he was an atheist.
Oh, I didn't know. He's old, so I just assumed he's not.
But there's so much religious themes in his films, from Kingdom of Heaven to Prometheus and even the Alien Covenant. So I asked him, I'm like, you're an atheist. How come there's so much religion, symbolism or imagery, or even in Covenant, he's inspired a lot from art, Christian art. And he said, well, when you get old, you start to question. So I'm not an atheist anymore. More agnostic, I think, at this point. So I'm like, okay, cool. Fair enough. So if you guys give a shit, here's a couple of pictures of me on set. Dang. And here's a little quick clip.
That's cool though, man. Yeah, regardless of the movie, I always think a set visit's fun. I like movies, and I know you're a director, but the vibe of a set, I think, is just the coolest thing. You know, to experience that is something else, especially a guy that top tier. You know, I would be very curious. I'd look at like where the light setup is, exactly. I'd explore all the technical aspects. That's really cool, man.
It was probably, you know, I've visited a lot of sets, you know, over the years, especially when I was in the early days of, you know, Arrow in the Head, the website. It's a horror website, by the way. But that one will be the one that I'll probably remember my entire life because it was very impressive. And of course, it's, you know, one of my favorite franchises. Alien Covenant. Word on that street. You don't like it. What's up?
No. Okay, let's start here. I have always enjoyed the first four. I call that essentially the original. It's not a trilogy, whatever four is. I'm bad at math.
Yeah.
Right? I dig all of those four for all different reasons. The first one's a horror movie, second's an action, third is like this depressing, just, you know, miserable experience tied into like obviously a religious theme. Fourth, the French came in and made an alien movie. That's, you know, it has its problems, but like the fucking French are wacky, so fair enough. And then I count Prometheus and Covenant. This was the start of something different. Probably say that a big issue I have with this is I felt Prometheus was ambitious, though flawed. Hey, baby. I think there was obviously some polishing that could happen, and I do think some of it is a little bit laughable. But I like the idea of Prometheus. I liked what that was going for. This, to me, felt, and you kind of said it, where it's, instead of continuing off that story, they almost kind of retconned and changed. And so I have a lot of issues with what this is trying to be, personally, and I do not like it. There are some good, so I would say, if you wouldn't mind, maybe we could share some good stuff.
The sound design is brilliant. The score by, I got his fucking name right here, because that score was amazing, by Jed Purcell.
Yeah, I can dig the score. Yeah.
He evoked some of the licks from the original Alien score, but he did his own thing as well. And one thing he did, which I really like, it was like the sound that would go. It was really unnerving. I love that shit, dude.
It's a gorgeous look. Absolutely gorgeous look. I mean, so is Prometheus. I mean, Ridley Scott knows how to fucking shoot. Let's be very fair. So I was curious. So when they land on the planet, right, I was like, man, this looks familiar. And I know it was shot in a couple different places, and I don't know if it was shot exactly here, but they said it was inspired by Milford Sound in New Zealand. I've been there before. It's one of my favorite places in the world. And so the cinematography and the look of everything is just, it's on point, man. And so I was going to say, I'm going to join you in the sets and say, set-wise, I think this is an absolutely gorgeous movie. And it is all practical. I mean, unless it's enhanced, but I know green screen when I see it. And I love that feeling. I love that look. A big thing for me, though, is for the most part, I would say this has probably some of the best gore in the series. In terms of kills, I think it becomes a slasher, basically. Well, an alien.
The first hour of the movie, in my opinion, before they meet David, is the best hour of the movie.
Yes, because it's like a exploration survival story.
Yeah, and you know, and the kills, like the scene, for example, where, you know, the guy is infected and he's stuck. You know, he's in the med bay with
quarantined, 2
chicks, and then one chick leaves, you know, and traps the other chick inside, which always bothered me. Just let the chick out. You know, it's you know, quarantine, but yeah, you're a little too late for fucking quarantine. You know, just let her out, and that thing comes out of his back. That whole bit, man, had me by the couillons, man. And that's like, Ridley Scott knows how to shoot and execute. I call it a ripper scene, just like the chestburster scene in the original Alien. This was kind of like this movie's equivalent. Fucking suspenseful, tension laced. Woo! I was on the edge of my seat again just with that bit.
Goes through the guy's back and she like tries to comfort him and it goes through her hand.
Through her hand.
Yeah, it rips out and falls out the back. I was like, okay, that's cool, man. I'll give him that. I dig that this wasn't neutered.
No. This one is gorier than the first one. It's gorier than 3. Gorier than 4 as well. Although 4 had a lot of it was like a freak show a bit. Part 4.
For the French.
Vive la France. So the first hour I think is incredibly solid, suspenseful, mystery. You don't know what you're in for. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what they're going to discover. And then we get to meeting with David. That whole shtick, which becomes, to me anyways, almost like the island of Dr. Moreau to some degree.
Yes.
Where he's experimenting. So basically at the end of the day, he's the one that created the xenomorph, the alien from the first film. He's trying to perfect, he's trying to execute the perfect organism. That's what he's doing. The themes of creation, I thought are fascinating. And I don't know if you know this, but there was a bunch of shorts that came out around the time that the film came out. One of them was called The Last Supper. Of course, The Last Supper.
With Franco and stuff.
Yeah, James Franco. It's basically actually the character development we didn't get in the movie, which I found fascinating because you don't really get to know these people.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
You just know that one's married to that one. That one's married to that one. That's pretty much it that you get to know, about these people. The Last Supper short gave us a bit more juice interaction, reminding me a bit of the interaction than the first Alien. I mean, they even, I don't know if you saw the short, the girl chokes on something and it's reminiscent of the chestburster scene from the original Alien. So I thought that was clever. So there was that. There was a fake commercial. Then there was The Crossing, which was Shaw from Prometheus and David and, her putting him back together again. But the interesting one was it came out on the Blu-ray. It's called The Advent. And that's a sequel. It follows Covenant and is basically David sending out a signal and basically saying what he's doing. That implies that he uses the chick that looks like Sigourney Weaver. I forgot her name. I don't know her name.
Daniels is her character name, yeah. That
he uses her to create the Alien Queen, which I thought was pretty genius. So if you guys are fans of Alien Covenant or you're just curious, go on YouTube and write Alien Covenant Advent, and it's the short that follows because it ends with David on the ship and going back home, and it follows that, and I thought it was pretty clever. What's your problem, D?
That this took all the charm and heart of the series, made dumb mistakes, and it contradicted everything that came before.
That?
Ridley Scott should have been the director. But here's the thing: Ridley Scott to me is almost like Lucas at this point, where and Tarantino, and to a point where nobody will tell them no. Like they're too good, they're too big. You need somebody, and you need somebody from Prometheus as well to be like, hey man, this doesn't line up. I like the idea of these movies being in the universe. I didn't want an alien in this. I thought that's my least favorite part of Prometheus. It's like, no, I want to go, let's go meet the gods. Let's go traverse the stars and find weird shit. And then this happens. It's like, okay, so he creates the egg without the queen. It's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. And why is there even a queen? It's like, why is he creating the egg? But there's a statue of the alien already in Prometheus. So did he get the idea from that? Is he creating this on its own? Like, why is he creating things?
You're overthinking it, bro.
No,
my God.
No. You get the most suspicious fucker I've ever seen coming out of nowhere and like, oh, me.
Follow me.
Okay, so we're not going to split up, right? Because there's not like doors. They're in a fucking cave. He's like, we're safe here. It's like, no, it's you're never safe if there's an open window and it's clearly an animal and they all like split up. I do. Yeah, no. And David, he's just the whole time he couldn't even fucking pull it off. I was like, in the first Prometheus, I wouldn't say he's evil. He's clearly on a mission to do what he's told, and it's unethical, But I never felt he was evil. In this, he's like an evil scientist. He's like, well,
Perfectly safe. I assure you.
Perfectly safe. I assure you.
I swear it's safe. I'm like, don't do it, Crudup. Billy, and he fucking looks over. I don't know, man. The entire time, here's the thing. This is a fun slasher movie, but take all the alien stuff out. You could put a generic monster, like the white thing that killed the girl because she was washing herself alone, like 100 feet away from everybody else in a dark fucking dingy room with no fucking doors. Like that thing. I was like, okay, if this thing was hunting these people, if you just took the alien out, I'd be a little okay because I could kind of get over it. But I mean, there was a lot of stuff, man.
I will give you that.
The flute scene.
Pardon me?
The flute scene? Let's talk the flute scene. I think the dumbest scene I've ever seen in my life. I laughed in the theater. I was like, I no, don't do it.
I'll do the fingering. Go on.
Are they gonna Are they gonna And they get real close. She's like, they're playing the flute together. And I'm like, I get it. Like, it's a technically marvelous scene because it's one actor playing two things and the camera moves. And I was like, okay, bravo. But nobody from script to set was like,
That's it. That's it.
is that what we're going for? Is that the vibe? Because you're filming it and scoring it like it's this like deep emotional thing, and it's just like they're fucking
Watch me.
guys, kill me here.
Yeah,
But-
look, I'll give you. I know you're on fire. Let me interrupt you for a moment.
Please. I'm not trying to be insulting.
I'll give you two things. Number one, yes, there were some dumb moves to serve the plot. I'll give you that.
And normally I'd be
I'll give you
okay,
that.
but there's
Like
a lot.
people splitting up, or even
More
the
than before.
Billy Crudup character, leaning over the thing. I thought, dude, like, really, man? I mean, I'd be on my guards. Even if the guy saved us, David, I'd be on my guards. It's a creepy place, man. I'd be on my guards, yeah.
But hold on, though. That scene might make sense at the beginning, but he showed him the egg after he clearly was like, oh, I killed everybody and been experimenting on bodies. Hey, come over here real quick. I got to show you something. He's like, all right. I'm sorry.
So I'll give you that. The flute scene, I never knew how to, and I still don't really know how to interpret it.
Raise your fingers as I put pressure on them.
I needed you so badly.
I mean, it has a tinge of homoerotic vibe to it. It's a flute, blow, all that stuff. But then I was thinking, okay, but this guy is so narcissist. This android is so narcissist, and the guy looks like him. So maybe he's attracted by himself. That was one thing I came up with. Two, he's evolved as a sentient being. He has his own thoughts and everything like that. And Walter is more, generic, so he's trying to teach him to go outside the box that they put him in. I mean, a theme that's very prevalent in this particular film is creating. So creating music, creating organisms or whatnot. So I'm not 100% sure how to read that scene, but everything I just said is pretty much how I read that scene.
Okay,
There you
here's
go.
the thing though. Here's my disagreement though. I don't think you're wrong. I think the themes and what he was trying to do is correct. But this is a good example of, I would have been on way before it even filmed, been like, hey man, I see what you're going for. How about this? Let me do a polish real quick, because no, that's going to come off real goofy. You could have had him bending a steel thing and been like, we played drums. Okay, 4/4 time.
I love the accent, by the way, man. You're like Ringo.
I can't do it. I have my English accent. So I'm just saying, like, I know that, like, or paint. You could talk to the paint. It would have been a little less. I just think it was totally goofy. It was goofy, and it didn't want to be. It was actually trying to do something serious, but it's like, man, in your heart, I know what you want, but like, this is how where execution falls off the tracks.
It's a bold move.
Yes.
And again, I didn't really know how to read it, but I'll take a bold move that doesn't hit the mark over somebody playing it safe. So for me, kudos, Mr. Scott. I don't know what the fuck you're trying to convey with that scene. I got ideas, as you've heard, but I'll take that scene over something generic. So I'll take it. You got your fucking book.
He cut his hair with scissors and had a perfectly buzzed haircut, and it was formed the same. I was like, but he had blonde hair before. Now it's all dark. I got a lot of these, man. I know you're gonna hate me for this, but
You're
it's like,
nitpicking, man.
because you decided to take the wonder and adventure of what would have been a good sequel, or you could have fixed the sequel, because the Prometheus had a bunch of dumb moves also. The fucking map guy gets lost right away. I'm the first person to be like, really? Yeah, the maps.
My fave, not that we're gonna get into Prometheus.
No, it'll be a different
guys and dolls,
episode. Yes.
But my fave dumb move in Prometheus is Charlize Theron running away from that big fucking thingo. Just step on the side.
Yeah. Go left or right. Yeah.
Or whoop, and all the best love and kisses. But no. So, but like I've stipulated. Love using that word. Ridley Scott's initial plan for Prometheus 2 actually was going to be called Alien Paradise Lost, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So when I first saw the film, I was, much like yourself, riding high on the high of Prometheus. They're going out there to the engineered planet. And I was pretty fascinated by that. You're basically going to meet God, so that's basically what it is. But then he had to course correct because of the complaints. So then he had to basically put a lid on the engineers, which he did really fast, with that flashback of
the worst part of the movie. We'll get to that.
David fucking dropping everything there on them for what purpose? I'm not sure. Does he hate them? It's
a 1,000-year-old ship. Like, they haven't evolved since that ship was sent fucking that long ago. And they all were just hanging out in robes. I don't know, man. I know answering questions is rough, and usually the answers never live up to the question. I've learned that in life. But man, was that just a dumping of fuck it, who cares? We'll just kill them all real quick.
And upon first viewing, that bothered me because I was really invested as to what Prometheus had set up. It's not the movie I thought I was going to watch, Alien Covenant, when I first saw it. So, they swept those fucking engineers on the rug. That's it. We're done with these fuckers. And we're just going to focus on David with his God complex and his experiments and playing the fucking flute.
Man's got to relax, right?
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we got extended flute scene where it's like, get that fucking grip real tight. Yeah.
That's it.
But upon further viewings, once I got over the fact that I didn't get the movie that I thought I was going to get, I got to see the movie for what it is. And I think it's smarter than your average. It actually kind of gets his cake and eat it too, because it's smarter in terms of thematics, not in terms of character moves, in terms of thematics, in terms of what it has to say. I mean, the original Prometheus was actually very philosophical.
Yes, it's about God. It's about life and existence.
And Alien Covenant tries to do both. Be philosophical to some degree, and it is to some degree, while delivering the, B-movie action, if you will, making it a scary horror movie, which I thought it was.
Okay, but why? Then let me ask you this, man. Why would Ridley Scott bow? Like, tell your story, finish your story, and then we could judge you afterwards. I don't like that he course corrected. To me, that's kind of annoying where it's like,
well, the studio has the final say, dude. At the end of the day, I don't care if you're Ridley Scott or not.
But then
Fox has the final say.
Then we get like this weird shoehorned in alien that doesn't make any sense because it doesn't come from the Queen. I mean, I guess really this movie
there is no Queen at this point.
Yes, but that's I don't like that. Like you're ignoring number 2, the one that we all love. I don't know, man.
It's a prequel, dude. I just told you before, man. The Advent hints that David's going to create the Queen using the Sigourney Weaver lookalike.
Oh, I hate that so much. I wish you never told me because I didn't see that one. I saw the Last Supper one, and I know there's a David commercial. No, that makes me angry. That's man. So you're fucking retconning to have this evil wizard just kind of dick around and say, holding flutes. Nope. Sorry. Nope. I'm taking my own movies, man.
Oh, dude. That's awesome. So, yes, it's not the Prometheus sequel that I wanted, personally. I wanted, actually, Ridley Scott to continue on the path that he was on. But I still feel what he delivered is superior, compelling, suspenseful, incredibly well done on the technical level. And it's basically almost acts like a greatest hits of Alien, to be honest, because
it's remake in parts, right? I mean, that's
certain reboot. Now, Signal, the hatching scene. Of course, at the end, the corridors, the doors closing.
Like an airlock ending. Yeah, I was like, come on, guys, come on.
An airlock ending. It reminded me of Alien 3. They even actually had a POV in Alien Covenant, much like Alien 3. Different vibe, but still had a POV. And I just found it entertaining from top to bottom. Michael Fassbender is incredible as David and Walter.
Well, okay, except for Walter has the worst accent I've ever heard. He kind of talked like this. And I was like, where are you supposed to be from, Walter? What accent is that, buddy?
Because you promised to build a log cabin on a lake.
There's like a little bit of a drawl, but it disappears, comes back. But I got to make sure we're going to the corridor. Is that a Southern accent? Are you Midwestern? Is that East? I'm sorry. I'm going to bring up the accent because I kept fucking.
Yeah, I know. I've noticed doing the show with you over, I don't know, it's been like, feels like forever. You have a thing with accents.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Don't do it then. How about this, John? If you ever make a movie, cast me as an Englishman. Cast me. I can do an English accent. Can I do it well? Who cares? We're all just getting fucking jobs nowadays and doing accents. And him and Catherine Waterston?
Thor Freudenthal.
I think the one who plays Daniels. They actually were really good in Steve Jobs, one of my favorite movies. And he played a decent American accent. It could be done. So that's all I'm saying. I'm sorry. Accents are big things, so just be careful.
I'm not even going to try to fight you on that because there's no point. So for me, the last thing on my mind watching Alien Covenant is fucking Fassbender's accent. I'm not like, oh, wait, is he? Oh, he skipped a beat.
I've made the opposite of this argument on other videos if I'm truly in tune with what it's trying to be. Like we talked about The Fly 2 recently, and that was like a silly monster movie. But I enjoyed the silly monster movie. I think my big issue is that.
What's silly about it? There was nothing silly about it.
Well, I'm not using silly as a derogatory term. I'm using silly in more of like a passive sense. Like everything is silly in its own right. I'm saying that for something like this, I was not connected to anybody. So I kept just seeing the flaws. Like people just survived and they're having like romantic sex in the shower. It's like, well.
Kind of like the beauty of the movie because it flirts the line between being really wanting to be an elevated sci-fi horror film and at the same time being
slasher,
a B-movie, B-movie horror film. So, when I saw the shower, I'm like, you bet there's a fucking shower. You bet there's a fucking shower scene, as there should be. Because, the original Alien, its roots are B-movie horror films. He did a B-movie horror movie, but he elevated it because of his visual style, because of Geiger's designs and everything. But at the core, Alien is what? A bunch of people trapped on a ship.
It's a haunted house
with a
movie
fucking monster. That's it,
But that's where movie magic comes in, where it's like time and place. Like, yeah, he nailed it then, but he did nail it now. That's what I'm saying. So let me ask you this, John.
I thought.
Well, I know you did. Yeah. But I'm going to ask you this. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, Prometheus and Covenant, right? Where do you place Covenant on your list?
Aliens, Alien.
Are you seeing?
Prometheus, Covenant, Part 3, Part 4. I think. But I haven't seen Prometheus in a while.
So this is high on your list. Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. Because Alien 3, by the way, you said before you loved Alien 3 just out of curiosity. Theatrical cut or producer's cut?
I've only seen. I should say I've only seen. The last time I saw the theatrical cut was on VHS. I bought the Alien quadrilogy in like 2004. I fucking love it because it's like the size of a room. It just keeps unfolding. I always made a joke where it's like
unfold. Yeah.
Like if a book falls off on that side of the room, I could lose the last 2/3 Alien movies. No. So the assembly cuts, what I've seen forever, and I've grown to absolutely love it. I understand why people don't, and I know it has its flaws clearly from studio interference. But as I've gotten older, I love how it's just despair. It's just sadness, and that's like a colony of prisoners, and it's religious. It's very spiritual in like a dark, depressing way, and I've gravitated towards that. But I understand why, because you just basically negate the fun fucking family unit from Aliens. Yeah. But I'm also a cynic.
Newt and Hicks out the gate.
When it comes to this, man, I didn't like it. Fassbender's great. Billy Crudup is great. The characters all do dumb stuff, but like the acting is good. I'm not going to shit on people. Fassbender, besides the weird accents, knocks it apart.
McBride was good. Playing
T. I dig McBride.
Actually, one thing just before you go down your grocery list, two things that I remembered when I was watching it. Number one, when I was on set, they were making a big deal that there was a gay couple. Part of the crew.
Oh, the Latin guy or Latino?
Yeah. A great man, by the way. Really, really enjoyed talking with that guy. Really affable.
He's in a lot of stuff. What is he?
We should get his name, man, out of respect. Damien Bashir. So and they made a big deal out of it, talking about it, because they kind of like, this was 2017. So a lot has changed from 2017 to now.
Because he loses his husband or boyfriend. I remember that scene.
Yeah. But when I saw the movie, man, they downplayed it. Like the way they were talking about it on set, it was going to be very prominent and very obvious. But here it's hinted at. I felt it was really downplayed.
Yeah,
So
until they mention it, I didn't know. Yeah. Which I mean might have been the point, which is like there is no difference. We're all the same. That could have been that, or it could have been the studio. Let's be honest.
Oh no, it's probably the studio. I got money down. It's the fucking studio. I mean, you talked about Alien 3. What a shit show that was. Why was it a shit show? Fox.
Yeah.
So Fox likes to get their hands in there. And the second thing that I totally I didn't know the motherfucker in 2017, but I know him now.
Jesse Smollett.
I'm good with my wife's tits.
Or Smollett, yeah.
Smollett or Smollett or whatever the fuck.
I'm from Chicago. I can tell you, and guess what? I worked in Streeterville, so I remember right away being like, oh, I'm sorry. And the coldest month of the year, one of the coldest days of the year, in Streeterville.
Like I said, when I first saw the movie, I didn't know who that dude was. And now I watched it a couple days ago, and now I know who he is because of that.
I know. The shower scene. He's the guy that gets the xenomorph in the mouth. Yeah.
So I was like, holy shit, that's that motherfucker.
And I would say I wrote down a couple of the gore scenes. There's a part in the brushes when the alien the little mini one first comes around. It takes off a guy's jaw with its tail. That was cool.
Yeah. Clean off, man. Clean off.
And I was like, okay. And I didn't notice stuff like that. So I was more keen to the gore this time. Like I said, it was a slasher. The shower scene is a slasher scene. Mm-hmm. That's what that is. It like creeps in.
And it kind of brings back, the tail comes in, between the legs, because, in the original Alien, not so much in the other installments, but the first one, he's like a giant dick, a giant penis, a giant phallic symbol.
Yeah, of course. Very, very
so it kind of brought that back a little bit in places, so which I appreciated.
Yeah, good. I mean, I appreciate that scene. I appreciate all the kills were actually really good. The back one, hold on. The Smollett tail whip took the show off. The birth of the back. Oh, the birth of the mouth. That's a cool scene too. The xenomorph. Yeah. There's one more thing I just want to make fun of real quick before I let you go.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Poor Billy Crudup. Crudup.
Nathan
the religious man.
Yeah, man of faith. He was also Dr. Manhattan and the Great Watchman.
Yep.
But after he dies and the thing comes out of his chest, it fucking does this thing, and the music's all sad, and David like raises his hands, and the alien's like, it sounds good in here, man, but it's not gonna look good. And then they filmed it, and they should have been like, that's a scene that should have been cut. Like, come out of chest, awesome, but him like interacting with him, like that's not cool.
But he's like.
Yeah, but that's it.
I think Pierce is David's father. So has another thematics, creation, yes. But also fatherhood, So, and he's their father because he's creating them. So
I think that's goofy. I think that's very silly. That's a silly thing.
Oh, so you just want the same shit over and over again? Is that it?
I thought Prometheus, besides the alien part at the end, was exactly different. That's exactly what I wanted.
Actually, good point. You got me there.
Listen. I think Alien is like Predator, where it's like I think we need to figure out we have too much. This is a good example of like he gave people what they wanted, but people are stupid. Don't ever give people what they want. Give them something else. So I guess my argument here it comes down to Alien hasn't been good since part 3, and I like part 4 in like a weird way. It's not good, but in a weird way, I have a lot I like it, but I would never defend it. I mean, if we had that episode, I'd be like, yeah, it's not good. It's the Frenchman fucking did a weird job. But at this point, I think we've gone too far. So whatever the alien has to be reinvented in some way. I know people don't like that, but eventually the monster becomes too known. I know what it does.
Well, I don't want to see. That's why Mr. Scott, did Prometheus and wanted to, do something without these.
I don't want more, but so I'm also at a weird age now where I don't want more of what I love. In fact, because and you could imagine, maybe I know you like this movie, but I think we'd agree. For the most part, they just seem to be fucking things up that I love. So I'd rather have not even take the chance. Just do something new, or even if I do in the world. But the alien at this point needs a rest.
Well, you're not going to get your break because, as you may know, Fede Alvarez is doing an Alien movie, which I'm actually pretty excited to see what he's going to do with that, because what he did with the Evil Dead was genius, in my opinion.
I agree. And maybe that's how they go back to making it a haunted house movie again. Okay, I'm a big dork. There's a game out called Alien Isolation, right?
Yeah, I have it. Yeah.
Fucking great game. You want to know why it's great? Because you don't fight aliens. You hide because they will murder you. There's no, I'm going to fucking It's like, no, you're dead. You are dead. Hide and hope it doesn't find you. I like that sort of aspect of the game because the whole game just made me chew off my nails and I'm like smoking unfilled cigarettes and just getting in fights with my wife, you know? So I want that version.
To each his own. Well, for me, in closing, I will say this. Alien Covenant was not the movie I thought I was going to get in terms of a sequel to Prometheus, but I really appreciate what it is at this point in my pitiful life.
It's not exactly my bag. I don't like it. I rewatched it a couple times. So I would say love what you love.
Well, what about you guys and dolls? Alien Covenant. Am I full of shit? Is Lance full of shit? Face hug those comments below. And was that good? I'm looking for approval, bro.
Yeah, no, you're doing well, man. You're doing well.
Face hug the comments below. Let us know what you think of the movie. Maybe it got better for you over time like it did for me, or better, or maybe you're in Team Lance cynical dark corner. So let us know. And thank you again for all the support on the channel. Keep spreading the word.
Subscribe, help us out.
Cheers. Later, buddy.